Alright, you guys, here she is, the new 2022 and the final 2022 Volkswagen Passat. This one is finished in Aurora Red Metallic. However, let me first touch on the changes for the final year here in the 2022 model year. Exclusive Racing Green Metallic paint is going to be available for this final year. It's only going to be available for the limited edition trim, and it's going to be limited to 423 units if you wanted to get one of those last exclusive paint colors for the final year. But let's go ahead and start up front on this one. LED headlights do come standard across the board. Gotta love that. Every single trim level, including our SE trim level that we have here today. Of course, automatic feature coming with that as well, meaning when it starts to get dark out at night, those headlights are going to turn on automatically for you there. LED daytime running lights also coming standard. And then if you were to go with the R line or limited edition trims, you will actually also get an adaptive front lighting system. What that is when you're going around a bend at night, those headlights are going to swivel based on the direction of your steering angle, better help illuminating what is around that bend. So it's kind of a safety feature in itself. That's pretty cool. Also, for those two trims, you will get automatic high beams as well. And of course, if you were to go with that R-Line trim level, you will get an R-Line specific front bumper, a little more aggressive appearance to the front end there as well. But overall, very nice looking front end. Let's now go ahead and make our way to the side of the Passat. And so now, since we are around to the side, let's go ahead and start with chrome window surrounds coming standard across the board. Body colored power adjustable side mirrors also standard, and those side mirrors will be heated, by the way, as well. It's always nice. If you were to go with the limited edition trim, that is going to add gloss black side mirrors though, and a power folding feature as well, which is pretty cool. Then taking a look down at the wheel setup, 18-inch machine finished alloys coming with the SE. That of course is what you guys are currently looking at. 18-inch two-tone machine finished alloys for the limited edition. They will be a multi-spoke design, and then 19-inch machine finished alloys for the R design. Of course, with that being a more sporty looking package, they do have to bump the wheel size up a little bit there, but now pretty much rounds out the side. Let's now go ahead and make our way to the back. All right, and so now since we are around to the back here, gloss black shark fin antenna. I expected that to be body colored. I don't mind it in gloss black, but anyways, integrated rear spoiler, kind of. You can kind of see that, but there is an actual rear lip spoiler. If you were to go with the R line, it's going to be finished in gloss black, of course. Passat lettering spelled out horizontally. You guys can see that. LED taillights coming standard for all trim levels as well to match up with the LED headlights, of course. And just below it all, Volkswagen would have you believe that this thing is dual exhaust outlets with chrome tips. However, you guys can see there's plastic within those chrome tips. So there is actually a single exhaust outlet, if you guys can see that, tucked away underneath. But having said that, I do believe you guys know what we have to do next. As always, here is that exhaust clip. Alright, so now since we are around back here of the Passat, when it comes to opening that rear trunk, there actually is a button on the key fob. That is one way. There's also a button on the driver's side door, and of course there is a button on the trunk itself then as well. But I will say, if you go with the limited edition trim level, it is a hands-free trunk, which is pretty darn cool. But anyways, once opened up, cargo capacity comes in at a very impressive 15.9 cubic feet. That's a good bit for a sedan. If that was not enough space though, there are some levers located in that trunk where you can just simply pull on them. There is a 60-40 split, meaning the rear seats are going to fold down, bumping that up quite substantially, of course. And in that cargo area, you can also, of course, find some cargo lighting back there. And if you lift up underneath the cargo floor, you will find a spare tire as opposed to the fix-a-flat, in case anybody was curious about that. Then make our way to the rear legroom. That is going to come in at 39.1 inches. So for reference, I'm even 6 feet tall. This is how much space I have back there. I had legroom for days back there. There's so much space back there. It was wonderful. Anyways, rear center armrest with cup holders also coming standard. Rear ventilation also coming standard. Dual USB charging ports. You don't always find that in sedans, but that also comes standard across the board. You do have front seat back map pockets, and if you wanted heated rear seats, simply go with the limited edition trim level. So that's pretty cool that they offer them as well. But then make our way to the front seats. 8-way power driver seat with power lumbar for all trim levels. Memory settings are going to come on the limited edition. You will get, of course, limited edition badging on the seats as well for that trim level. Leatherette surfaces coming with the SE and R line. That's what you're currently looking at. Leather seating coming with the limited edition, and then heated front seats coming with every single trim level across the board. You gotta love that. And overall seating is plenty comfortable. No issues there whatsoever. But then taking a look at the steering wheel, it is tilt and telescoping. It is leather wrapped for all trim levels across the board. And it does get a flat bottom, which I thought was pretty cool as well. Then make our way to the startup. Let me start by showing you guys the key here. You do have your Volkswagen logo on the one side, and when you flip it over, lock, unlock, the button to pop the rear trunk, and the ×2 button is going to be remote start, which by the way comes standard on every single trim level across the board, including a push button start. That also comes standard on all trims. So all I'm going to do here is simply put my foot on the brake and press that engine start button located just to the left of the shifter there. And so upon startup here, tachometer is all the way to your left, speedometer all the way to your right. There is a small digital display front and center to control what is on that digital display. There are some steering wheel mounted controls found on the right side of the steering wheel. It gives you different things like your safety information. There's your Bluetooth information, radio settings. There of course is how many miles you have left until you hit empty as well. And you can choose to display a digital speedometer up there if you wanted to too. So pretty much everything you could possibly want up on the digital portion at least of the gauges. But then making our way to overall interior quality. Power sunroof is going to come standard on all trim levels across the board. Overhead sunglass holder also coming standard for all trim levels. Dual zone climate control, again, all trim levels are going to get that. Ambient lighting is going to come then on the R line and the limited edition trim levels, but you won't get it unfortunately on our SE that we have here today, but that is pretty cool. Did want to also mention we do have a frameless rear view mirror with a little compass in the upper right hand corner and home link controls for up to 3 different garage doors. I was a big fan of that. I like the design to the air vent as well here on the Passat. It kind of continues on just above the infotainment screen and just above the passenger side glove box. It's a pretty cool look. Just in front of the shifter, you do have some rubberized storage to perhaps store your phone. You have a USB charging port, 12-volt power outlet. Just behind the shifter, you of course have your dual cup holders, followed by a little bit of rubberized storage. And within the center armrest, there is a decent amount of storage in there as well. But overall, it's finished pretty much like you would expect the Passat to be finished. Nothing too crazy, but it certainly will get the job done. But then taking a look at the infotainment screen, again, it's going to differ amongst the trim levels. 6.3-inch color touchscreen display with the SE and R line. 8-inch color touchscreen display then coming with the limited edition. Either way, you get Bluetooth and audio streaming. You still get Android Auto, Apple CarPlay either way. Factory navigation system though, coming with the R line and limited edition. You could check out your weather information up there if you wanted to. Also your radio information. And so when it comes to the sound system, the basic sound system is going to come with the SE that we have today, unfortunately. But if you go with that R line or limited edition, you're going to get a Fender premium sound system. But again, that's not the one we have today. So let's go ahead and turn to the radio, see what we got playing today, and let's test out our standard sound system we have here on the SE. Actually, that was dang loud. Probably one of the loudest sound systems that are out there right now, believe it or not. Clarity was plenty fine, not a whole lot of bass, but maybe it's because that song didn't have a whole lot of bass in it, but actually kind of surprising. That sound system wasn't that bad for making the standard sound system on our SE here. But last thing I want to mention to you guys on the infotainment screen at least is when you do put the Passat in reverse, you of course will find a rear view camera coming standard across the board, letting you know who or what is behind you, which is always is going to lead us into safety. And so to start, front side carrier airbags do come standard. In the back, you're going to have latch, aka lower anchors and tethers for children for the rear car seats. Rear child door locks, tire pressure monitoring system, but also coming standard across the board will include a forward collision mitigation system, forward collision warning with autonomous emergency braking, blind spot monitoring system with rear cross traffic alert, adaptive cruise control, and then lane departure warning as well.